Okay, welcome back to Swipe Right for Talent. This is part 2 of episode 2. We did as you know, our episode 2 was on AI. But after we shot the whole episode, we realized that, 20 minutes is maybe not enough. So hopefully you'll like the next 20 minutes. So we'll go on with the same topic, Pramod, as we were doing on episode 2, because it's just a continuation. But I'm going to flip it back to you because you had so many questions that you wanted to ask on AI and recruiting and recruitment. So maybe why don't we start with that?
Yeah, definitely. It's a topic that is highly engaging and exciting, and it warrants more exploration than that can be done in 20 minutes. And I do have a lot of questions to ask you, because it's a fascinating subject, AI and recruitment. So, Gautam, if you go, you've been in recruitment for quite a long time, and has something like AI or close to AI in terms of the impact it has created happened in the recruitment technology field before this? Can you recall something that upset the apple cart?
I think the main difference, if I look at recruitment tech or recruit tech over the last, say, 20-25 years, email, of course, was the big thing which came in the mid-90s. Email made sending resumes much faster. Right? Imagine in the earlier days we would send it by courier or fax. Right, and fax, if you remember, had this problem because you couldn't read properly and so on, or you had to go by hand deliver it. Right, there's no other way to get it across. So therefore, distances were impossible to bridge. Like if my client was like in Delhi and I'm in Bangalore or even overseas, then heaven help me, right? Because it'll take some 7-8 days. So email made that communication part much faster.
Yes.
Then of course the job boards came.
Sorry?
The job boards.
Okay.
Monster, then of course Naukri and so on in India. Monster of course was the first. And that made data democratic, right? Like earlier data was proprietary, like
correct
candidate data, right? So that made it data democratic. You could access data anywhere. And then of course came the ATS, which was storage of data, right? And that came, in the early 2000s. And then the VMS to manage vendors and so on. But I don't think there was any single technology which impacted all facets of recruitment.
Correct.
Right. Email impacted the sending part, like the connection.
The communication part.
The communication part, right? The job boards impacted the sourcing part, like it made data easier. ATS impacted the storage part. I could store all the resumes in one place and access them and so on. But to me, AI is revolutionary, apart from the lot of stuff we discussed in part 1, is because it impacts all aspects of recruitment. Sourcing, screening, assessing, communicating, getting the guy to join, onboarding. Every single facet is impacted by AI.
All steps of the way.
All steps, right? From source to onboard, which if you look at the whole life cycle of any recruitment process, there is no technology so far in the last 25-30 years which has impacted the whole life cycle.
Correct.
That, if you ask me, is the most revolutionary thing about AI, right? As far as recruiting is concerned, right? It is the only thing which is going to change every single facet of the hiring process, right? Unlike the ATS or the CRM or the VMS or the job boards or the email, which was just changing one part, right? And that is super exciting. Right. I'm like just consumed with that. Right. Like just to be able to think of ways of how, AI can impact the whole process. It's never ending. And one of the other things which I love about AI, right, back to your technology question, is that earlier you needed a technologist to deliver code, right, which would, then fit with the system.
Correct.
Now with AI, the blur between technologist and non-technologist is complete, right? And that's another brilliant part, right? Anybody is a technologist today, which was not the case, say, even 5 years ago, right? You thought of something and then you went to a programmer or a system designer and so on and so forth. Now that is not the case, right? So therefore, the speed of execution, right, is very, very fast. And B is that you don't need that the domain expert. If you know the domain well, then you can come up with technology, quote unquote, ideas and implement them right? Without the need for having a technologist army, or like this whole army of 1,000 people to build something. You don't need that anymore. And that was not the case with any single piece of technology which was built, not only for recruitment, for anything else in the last 20 years. So that's that's what I see about AI, which is very, very different from any technology advancement which has happened in the recruiting space in the last couple of decades.
The comprehensive nature in which it is contributing to...
It's like impacting every single facet, right? And this is just the beginning. That's the other part of it, right? Because as we discussed in part one, this is the only thing which will get better with usage. So even sitting here in the year 2025 and the former part of the year, it's difficult for us to visualize what will happen at the end of this year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Forget 2026. I'm saying December 2025, right? What would be the changes that AI will make in various aspects of recruitment? Impossible to predict. I won't even want to hazard a guess, because I don't think that is possible, right? So I think that was the unpredictability of it. What can it do? What can it come up with? I mean, that's exciting, right? And as you said, the comprehensive nature. I think these two are real game changers when it comes to AI as compared to any other piece of tech, right? In the last 20 years or so.
Yeah. So it's very obvious. I mean, you talk about the impact on the various steps in recruitment. It's very overwhelming. Okay, it's very overwhelming. But at the same time, when you take a step back and look at it, it's a no-brainer. I think not only recruiters, anybody who is in any profession should be able to understand that it's going to happen anyway, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and it's already happening, right? I mean, we were having this discussion earlier with another colleague, right? AI is all around us. It's like air, right? I mean, you look at any OTT show that we watch or anything on social media that we consume, and all of us are like consuming social media like it's going out of fashion, right? On any platform, everything is now AI driven. So without us even knowing, right?
It's taking our lives.
Yeah, it's all recommendation engines, everything that you read, and it is scary to some extent, but that's a reality today, right? And all of us are living that reality, right? You see a video, the next video will be similar to what you've seen. How do you think that is happening? It's happening because there's a machine in the background who's now learning your preferences and your tastes, and therefore showing you more of the same thing, right? Whether it comes to movie recommendations or video or anything for them, even a text recommendation. So I think AI is already around us. I think the best way to say it is like air, right? I mean, it's there. We are breathing it. We are like living it. And as you said,
it's up to us to.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say I'm anti-air, right? that doesn't make any sense, right? So yeah, it's as universal as that. So we are in that world today, right? So absolutely, it's there amongst us, there around us.
Looking at it from another angle, in the course of the last 5-6 months, probably you have encountered many degrees and many levels of apprehension when you talk about AI, and I'm sure some of them might have even made you laugh, some of them might have even made you think. Do you recall any such instances that you probably remember for some time and you would like to share with our audience?
Yeah, I mean, it's like funny that in some cases, some recruiters are still trying to see it as an enemy and therefore point out cases of AI failure.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like trying to almost compete, if I can use that word, with AI. And this is coming from the insecurity of, as we discussed in the last, in the first part, right? Like, will it take away my job? So you are seeing it, we discussed the fear part of it, but it's almost like a competitor, right? So if I have a competitor, like supposing there are two people who are competing, right, for the same position, they behave in a certain manner, right, with each other, right? I mean, there are some people who can rise above it, but very few. Most of them are, the animosity is like the jealousy, envy, Shakespeare.
Acrimony, all
yeah, acrimony is like, so you are now jealous of AI, right? Almost if AI is a person, right? Like AI is another recruiter, so as to say. So, and we have been in some closed room discussions, right? Where we've had recruiters pointing out flaws.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Saying, hey, AI doesn't do this, AI can't do this. without realizing what they are talking about, right? And not understanding that AI is not, like when it comes to resume screening. And I'm going to go on record in saying this, that if you look at resume screening, right, AI is at a different level, right? It can screen a resume better than any human being. Right? I'm going to say it. I think I've seen that now at work for the last 3 to 4 months, the tools that we have built. The input parameters need to be correct. That's the key, right? People think AI reads a resume, I'll give you an example. I'm hiring for a Java professional. People think AI reads the word Java multiple times and therefore figures out the resume is good. It doesn't. AI is contextual. That's the difference between AI. That technology was there 20 years ago when you could read a resume and
see the number of
control
times,
F, right? Like Java exists 20 times. Like two resumes, Java 10 times. I'm bad, you are good because your resume has Java 20 times. Right?
But it's not a numerical thing anymore.
It's not. It's contextual. That's the main difference. AI is not about reading a resume and seeing the word Java, Control F, right? Control Find and say, okay. No, it's contextual. It actually understands the context of the way Java has been used. By the person. It understands the complexity of that project. So 2 of us have worked on a Java project. Your project is 2 years. My project is 1 year. Your project is slightly more complex. It's taken a long time to execute. It understands your role in that project. So the context is what makes it so superior when it comes to resume screening. But having said that, you have to provide the right inputs. Look, end of the day, it is a machine.
That's what I was thinking of.
It's a machine. Right. So what you see at a screening level, right, is an output. Right. Now you're fighting that output by saying, oh, the output is bullshit. No, it's not. If you have provided the right input, and again I'm going on record, you provide the right input, the resume screening done by AI is 10x superior to even the guy who's running that project. Right? Imagine. The understanding is at a different level. I have now seen maybe between 1,000 to 2,000 screens of the resume as we built this product. Right? And every time, and believe me, I have myself screened like thousands of resumes in my 20-year career. Right? Every time I was shocked. I was like, my God, the level of detailing. I mean, the analysis is at a different level. The way the machine analyzes the candidate, puts out the pluses and the minuses, identifies the gaps, and also tells you, when you interview this candidate, please focus on these areas. Because these areas, there's a slight weakness.
What more do you need?
Yeah, what more do you want? I mean, it is at a different level. And then when I hear somebody, I can just smile. That's all I can do. We are wanting to get into a heated debate on this because, again, as you rightly said, it's coming out of fear. Right? It's not coming out of quote-unquote rational thought. So then there's no point getting into
It's a reaction, not even
It's a reaction, yeah. So there's no point getting into a debate or an argument because the person anyway is on a different tangent. It's like not a rational argument. But the screening is absolutely at a different level, right? It just cannot be done by a human being. I don't think human beings should even attempt to screen resumes anymore, right? They are just wasting their time, right? I think what we should do is look at the output, work on making the input better, like how to tell the machine to screen. That is in our hands. Work on that, which is now called prompt, right? If you look at the AI world, prompt engineering, and then just trust the fact that the machine will come up with that output and then build on that output. Don't try to replicate that, right? Saying, I will do a better job. No, you can't, right? You can't. And I'm saying that. You cannot. It is the LLMs today, Pramod, have resumes which are 10 million or 20 million. Or maybe all the resumes in the world. I don't know. No, hazard a guess. Right? There are 7 billion people on this earth, right? I don't know how many resumes they have. Imagine the kind of data they are crunching. Right? They are crunching data at a different level. Like when you say Java, they have seen a million Java resumes. Right? They have not seen 1 or 2 or 5. Right? So it is at that level. And it's getting better and better and better as we discussed. So the level of resume screening that can be done through AI today, and that will be done even 3 months from now, will be better than what it is done today. Right? So just embrace it and use it, and don't waste your time doing it. Let the machine do it because the machine will do a much better job. Right? That doesn't mean the machine will replace you. right? I mean, that's the wrong, again,
Notion.
back to your other example that we were discussing in the part 1 episode, right? So just embrace that fact, use the output, and go from there, and look at it as something which is helping you as a recruiter become more productive, right? And helping you do your job better.
Yeah.
Right? You're not competing with it. Why do you want to compete with a machine? Think about it. I mean, it's preposterous, right? Machine is not your competition, right? Why do you want to look at AI as a competition? It's not.
Yeah, the moment they start seeing it as an opportunity,
Yeah.
And something that they have to contend with in the years to come, and they can turn it into a great opportunity, I think people will speed up their adoption.
Yeah.
That's but they need to have that information out there. They need to have some myth breakers, which are suggested by, people like you. And like I was saying earlier, every transition of this kind takes time and a lot of sensitivity and empathy on the part of people who are evangelists in this field. Otherwise, the resentment will take a lot of time to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there are ways, as we discussed earlier also, right? Stopping disinformation and coming up with evidence.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point that you made last time, right? That we should,
I would say I would keep empathy as a very, very strong point, for the communicator and the evangelist in this field. I mean, I remember, to give you an instance from my own life as a rookie copywriter. When I applied for a job in one of the corporate agencies, they asked me to do a copy test. Okay, it was only one assignment, just one assignment. It was a letter that goes out from a marriage counselor, okay, to a prospective customer. You have to promote the services of a marriage counselor by writing a letter of sales to a prospect. So I was fortunate in being able to imagine empathy as one of the core. I had just got married.
That's why.
It got me the job at Ogilvy. Honestly, I haven't really talked about it much. I realized because I was just 1 year into, I think probably less, into my marriage, I was able to, I was in that moment where I'm transitioning from bachelor to householder and husband and all that. I realized that empathy was a key factor. So I wrote this letter, I still have it somewhere, which told the prospective customer that things are great in your marriage. That's how I started, I know that you're great in your marriage, you have married the right person, and you have a great thing going. If you ever think of improving it further,
then this is what you can do.
Yeah, then maybe you can look
That's a great way. So you're saying that first empathize with the recruiter.
First empathize, yeah.
First, that's very interesting.
Unless you see, otherwise you get a letter from a marriage counselor saying that you need to talk.
You're
first thing will be you crumple it up and throw it.
Who the hell are you?
Who the hell are you to talk to me like that? Nobody will admit that they have a bad marriage. Most people won't.
Absolutely.
So I don't know where that insight came from. I must have been in my early 20s at that point, And so I wrote that things are fine with you. You married the right person. And you're all set to grow in together. But if you feel like you want to have a more fulfilling relationship, you want to take those steps faster, easier, in a more enjoyable, rewarding manner, maybe you could talk to somebody like me. Maybe. And if you want a no strings attached conversation, I'm always here. You just have to call this number.
Pramod, if you look at it, if you remember the episode 1 that we did, right, on the pride of a recruiter, right, and we correlated that with several instances of historical and movies and so on. Maybe that's the empathy part.
Empathy part.
First, you have to say, boss, you are good. Right,
like
you're doing a good job and you're doing something which is important. Right, it's impactful for the organization. But in case you want to be better. right?
Yeah.
Or
In case you want to take a quantum leap in
being better, yeah,
and leave your compatriots and your colleagues a little behind in this transition.
Yeah.
Then you have this AI. You can discover it right.
That's a great way to approach it.
Yeah, I'll give you another example, which will from another field altogether, of which I'm part of. I'm also part of Toastmasters, which is a public speaking forum. So there we have this thing called the sandwich feedback method.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like somebody comes and speaks in front of an audience. He has a assigned evaluator. The evaluator is expected to give him feedback or her feedback using the sandwich method. It's very simple.
Okay, what is that?
Praise, feedback, praise.
Praise, feedback, praise. Okay, so you begin with positive.
You begin with positive, then you give him feedback or her feedback, and then you layer a praise, one more layer. It's like making a sandwich. The first layer of first slice of bread is praise.
Correct. Got it.
Second slice of filling is feedback. Third one is praise again.
And that feedback could be brutal.
It will not be in Toastmasters terms. It will not. I'll further delve into it. Imagine a first-time speaker comes. Okay, they fumble a lot and they speak.
Correct.
They give out the message.
Everybody's nervous.
They're very nervous and they tremble and then they shiver and all that. Somehow they deliver the speech and they go back. When it comes to sandwich method, the first line of conversation between the evaluator and this person is, you did a great job, because it is not easy to come stand before an audience and speak.
That's empathy.
Yeah. It is not easy for anyone to come in front of an audience and speak. Even I used to tremble when I attended my first speech. So a round of applause for you. So the guy feels good, the person feels good. Second one is, from my personal view, there are some ways in which you could have made your speech better. These are not absolute things, but my feeling, which comes from the guidelines given by Toastmasters International also. Perhaps you could have practiced for a little bit more. Perhaps you could have saluted the audience in a little bit more. Perhaps you could have engaged the audience a little bit more. But in all other ways, I still hold my praise, saying that it takes a lot of effort to come back here and say, and the way you open your speech, 100 marks for it. So next time when you attempt something like this, please keep in mind what I've just shared with you. Otherwise, it was a great speech. Round of applause for this person.
Wow.
That will, and this has been tested out over the years, For 50 years, the Toastmasters, since the founding of the first Toastmasters Club, the sandwich method still starts. I use it when I'm doing an appraisal for my employees. Or
that's fantastic.
Yeah, when I'm in a tight situation with one of my children. It's great that
I'm now the sandwich method is like...
I tell my son, it's great that you have embraced a hobby, which is not sitting in front of a screen and doing something. I'm very happy that you're taking out the car and going to the racetrack. However, I would still like to tell you that you need to wear a helmet. Yeah. I mean, I'm making it sound like I'm using a business technique in a human personal interaction, but it's a lot toned down than that. But this stands.
Yeah. No, that's a great insight, Pramod. I think thanks for that. I think probably one way of communicating, and you've been from the communication field, that when we talk to recruiters, right, and when everybody talks, not only us, like even like a head of HR or a head of recruitment, or anybody in an organization or a leader, and talks about AI, because AI is something, as we discussed, which is everybody's talking about it, right? And you have to. I mean, it's not something which is an option anymore. You talk about the sandwich method. So first you talk about the fact that the guy is doing a great job, right? And like we did in our so we're also doing a sandwich method, right? Our episode 1 was talking about recruiter pride and recruiter importance. And now we're talking about AI. We're giving that kind of feedback to the recruiters, saying, you know what, hey, embrace this technology, right? It's here. You can't run away from it. It's your friend. Right? Don't compete with it.
Start by saying you're doing great. You know?
And then
to have reached this far and to hold this position, and if you have done some homework on the company or the person, say that I've seen it out there. But I'm sure that you will want to take it to the next
Take it to
level.
the next level.
And then
That's
this is a great tool.
That's a good way to communicate.
Self-interest of that person, is very, very important.
Yeah.
The moment somebody thinks that you have another agenda, then it's going to crumble.
Correct. No, that's a great way to.
Yeah.
I think we will embrace that also internally and externally.
I'm
Thanks
happy.
for that. Yeah, that was a nice example. Thanks, Pramod. Great as always.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Great as always to
Great
have this
talking to you.
discussion. Maybe if we get some more feedback on this episode, part 1 and part 2, maybe we'll do something else on AI as we go along, because this is, as we've already been saying, the biggest thing which is happening around us. It's very, very topical, and a lot of recruiters are wanting to know more and more about it, as they should.
Yes.
Right. So I think, it's also a lot of curiosity. And it's like that black box, right? Like, you don't know what's inside it, but you know that, this is something important. Right. So we want to open the black box and, show people that, hey, it's not something to be scared about, right? It's like any other black box, a lot of things inside it, but it's easy to comprehend and, wrap your head around. So we may do some more episodes on AI. But for now, we'll wrap it up.
Forward to it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.